What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great day. It is almost 8 o'clock here, a little after 7:45. I appreciate you all taking the time whenever you're watching this, but continuously late nights for me at work, so I do apologize, but I want to get all this draft content out leading into this draft. 16 days away. Let's effing go. We're about to finish up the offense here. We went through quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends. Now we're going through the offensive line. Then we'll jump into the defense the rest of this week and into next. Let's effing go. I'll give you the rookie cap hits, everything you need to know leading into, of course, my pick for this year. We'll go for 7 years here in a row, picking who the Eagles are going to pick. So, look, I appreciate you all taking the time. You have any questions, comments, love to hear from you. But let's jump right into this bad boy. And we're going to start it off with our draft picks. Thank you for hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, all the things you're doing to support the channel. Let's jump into this. So we will have the exact picks here very soon. And look, we know pick 32 because Super Bowl champs. But we've got some ammo in this one. I saw a post from Adam Schefter today. Breaking news. The Eagles could make a trade during the draft. No shit, Sherlock. Wow, that is fantastic that you just figured that out. But 8 picks in this year's draft, 11 next, and then 7 in 2027. So you've got yourself 26 picks here that you can play with, and you know how he will. If he wants to move up for someone, he will. If he doesn't, feel he needs to take someone, wants to move back, acquire more picks, he will do that. Wants to get a player, get rid of a player, he will do that. So, yes, thank you, Adam Schefter, for that groundbreaking stuff. But 4 fifth-round picks, first, second, third, and fourth this year. So expect some fun to go down. As I always tell you guys, yeah, we picked 32, but I'd stay locked in for all of this draft. We're going to have a live stream again this year, but always stay on your toes because you know Howie, that son of a... Well, let's jump into what the Eagles got going on at their O-line and where I've got that O-line as a position of need. And I separated the positions, but they're all right there on the right side. More so feel good about the starters, but need to add depth. Now, I understand. I get it. At guard, people are freaking out. You don't have Mekhi Becton, but that's what Tyler Steen was drafted for. We signed some players. So I'm not as, need to do this, that, the other thing. I think we're going in this draft with the luxury of we can do whatever the hell we want. Best player available, and that could definitely be an offensive lineman because you're always looking to go in the trenches. But for me, I feel decent about tackle, guard, and yes, I know center. We've talked about it. I could use some depth there. So I do feel that way. But look, Landon Dickerson, he is someone that can slide over. I don't really want that to happen. So I'd like to see them, look to add here in this draft. But we talked about these other positions, and we'll talk about the ones that we haven't later on. But this is what the offensive line looks like here. And you can see the tackles, Mailata and Johnson, and obviously Kennard back here. Vakahali was signed as a reserve future guy. And then you had Kendall Lamb brought in. So that's a swing tackle right there. Johnson, Driscoll, Clark, all walk. That's fine. But then at guard, you could see, look, last year we drafted Trevor Keegan. This year you signed Pryor. You traded for Kenyon Green. So you do have some competition there. I don't feel as lost as a lot of people. I think whoever Jeff Stoutland decides is the best for the job, I'll be excited about it. Pryor started some games last year, a lot of games, and we obviously are familiar with him. But I think that, if Stout wanted him back and he thinks he can do something, fantastic. But, center, again, you only have Cam Jurgens there. And look, people dabble there, Toth, Dickerson, but I think, bringing somebody in would not be a horrible idea or one of those versatile pieces that can play guard and center. But that's what's going on in the position, how I feel about it. We're going to talk more about it as we look at these picks. But let's first take a look at these picks in this year's draft and through the tackles, guards, centers all together. Every year before this, I've been breaking them down. That's a lot of graphics to be putting out there. So, yeah, I'm trying my best to get all of this to you. But these are the guys. And honestly, I've changed my mind on a bunch of these already. And I created this a few days ago. I do apologize. It was my birthday. So had some things going on. But this was made, last week. And I think for the most part, that's how I feel about these guys, where I had them. Jalen Travis, you could see that was someone the Eagles just brought in for a visit. So maybe that's somebody they will take a gander at here. And look, take this with a grain of salt. As I said, I change these in my mind all the time, let alone on the graphics. But you let me know how you feel about some of these guys. Drew Kendall there, a fan of his game. There's definitely some guys you can find at the back end of this draft. And, the round 4 or 5 guys I have here, some of these guys could definitely be going before that. Wilson Slater, Dylan Fairchild was brought in for a visit with the Eagles as well. So you've got some dudes that I think, for me, have some talent that you don't have to go with a high pick, but it's the Eagles. And, we know that they like to be ready in the trenches for when, injuries happen or guys are getting older or becoming free agents. So definitely focused on this offensive line here. And you can see the guys I have in the round 2-3 area. Maybe somebody goes in the first round, maybe somebody drops. But again, anything can happen, but you can see how I have them listed here. And then round 1 guys, I don't think all of these guys go in round 1, but I think they have the possibility of going, and more so the guys at the top. And I have Membu here as number 1. I don't think he goes first. I think Campbell possibly could. And look, Banks is very talented too, but I think Membu is just all around better player. They projected him as a guard. That's fine. Whatever they want to do. That's just how I have things laid out here. Josh Connerly brought in for a visit with the Eagles as well. Booker there. So you've got some talented players in this draft on the offensive line, and the Eagles are always looking on in the trenches on offense and defense. Been a long day. Maybe I could try learning to talk here, but let's move into these top fits. And I've got a lot of them because, these offensive linemen, it's all over the place with the Eagles. And I think that, there's definitely a lot of intriguing prospects here. We're going to start it off with someone, Tyler Booker. And I think Tyler Booker, is somebody that a lot of people are projecting the Eagles could definitely be looking at. Could go at the end of the first round. Maybe he's in the second round there. Not sure if he's there for that Eagles second pick. But again, we know we could trade up, do a lot of things. Didn't give up any sacks last year, but, he had to play a little bit of left tackle, but predominantly left guard there. But this is a dude, he's a powerful mother effer. But I think what people sleep on is his pass protection. He's pretty damn good at that, but he's a very powerful dude. But he's got to work on his run blocking. That's why I've got him a little lower on my list. If he's going to be a first round pick, maybe a high second round pick, I don't know. I just think he's got some work to do. I'm not ready to solidify him as that pick for the Eagles. And I've got 13 of these guys for you. So that's number 13. Number 12, and you can see, just a few stats. I threw in a PFF grade for you guys. I know that like that stuff. The 40, okay, whatever. But, it gives you an idea of how quick they are. But that stuff really, especially with offensive linemen, does not matter. But Donovan Jackson, another name. See a lot of people talking about Eagles visiting with him. 5'2", 40, that's all right. He's 6'4", 315. And I think more so a guard in this league. And that's something, he played and had to move out to tackle due to an injury. So he's got versatility. That's a good thing, right? Gave up a couple sacks, 5 hits there. I think he's very talented. The reason I have him lower down, I'm not sure. Again, I don't think I want to take him at 32, and I don't think he'd last till 64. He definitely could, but I'm not moving up for him. I think he's talented, but I think I would go different routes. That's just where I stand. I like Donovan Jackson. I know he went to Ohio State, so that gets people pumped up. But 22 years old, definitely wouldn't be mad at it. I have him on the top fits for a reason. And then Marcus Mbow here, 5.2, 540 there. You want to look at 40 times for offensive linemen, then I don't know what to tell you. But it will give you an idea that they're a little quicker. Some of these guys are stud athletes. This is somebody the Eagles had in for a visit. And I wish I would have looked at that before I made these because there are a couple guys I mentioned, Fairchild and some other that I don't have on here. But definitely good fits. The Eagles checking them out. But you see 3 sacks allowed here, 1 hit. Mark of the Beast in snaps there, 74 PFF grade, 6'4", 303 pounds. So, again, a guy that I would be excited to have gave up 3 sacks, 1 hit last year. Played right tackle. That's what he plays, and we don't need a right tackle right now. I think this is somebody that could provide, being a swing tackle. You got Kendall Lamb in free agency, though, but this guy could kick into guard. It's something he did a couple of years ago, played right guard. So he has the ability. I think he might have to play guard in the NFL, but, this is somebody, not the greatest attributes if you're looking at that kind of stuff, but he's got good agility. I think that he just doesn't have the size to play tackle. I think he's more so guard in the NFL. And if he is going to be that, I think, he's going to work a little on his pass blocking, but I think he's good at both. So I would be, perfectly fine if the Eagles went and grabbed him. If he falls in the 3rd round, maybe, not against it at all. And then up next, we've got, Lord, Jonah Savanai, and 6'4", 324. This dude's a beast. 4.9540. So that does give you an idea. A man that size, running that speed. Wow. He is a big boy. And this is a guy that played both tackle positions last year. He has played guard. So that's something I think that in his future he could be playing guard in the NFL. But he's definitely got that athleticism you want to see for a guy that size. And I think, he is just huge. So seeing him move like that and with the power he has, I just think he is a really good fit for the Eagles, fit for many people. I think that he would definitely be someone fun. But he's having that quickness, that's great. But all around athleticism, not sure. He's definitely got to work on some things. He needs some coaching up, and I think that's why he'd be more so 2nd, 3rd round. It's not just about their skill set. You see a 40 time and you think, oh, this guy's just a great athlete all around. Yeah, he's quick, and that's fun to watch at that size, but definitely stiff in areas. And I think that, again, this is a guy, if he falls, you're excited. Gave up 4 sacks, 2 hits, but this is a project I think Stalin would be perfectly fine with. Getting in here to number 9, Jackson Slater out of Sacramento State. So I think being a little slept on due to, that school, you can see he's got a little speed to him. And look, again, it's a 40 time for an offensive lineman, but he played left guard, had a few snaps at center, so he can do that. And he played tackle a couple of years ago, so that's something in his bank. That versatility is something we like. And also like the fact that he didn't give up any sacks, any hits. And look, I know it's a small school, so you got to keep that kind of stuff in mind. But he's a great pass blocker. I just think he needs to work on his run blocking. He's got a great first step, though. And I think that he's got great strength, man. And, he's got some good technique for pass protection. But I just think the run blocking could use some toning there. And that's something in this, offense you need to be able to do. But this is the kind of guy that if he falls a little bit, with one of those 4th or 5th round picks, or maybe with your 4th rounder, I think Jackson Slater would be a good pickup. And if he can really play center, be depth there, and help you at guard, that'd be great. We have competition at guard, but more the merrier. Now at number 8 here, another talented player and look, all these guys are talented. I like all of them. I'm sorry if I say that over and over, but Ariante Irsary, this is a guy out of Minnesota. Just butchered his name there, but another quick as hell dude. He's got some good athleticism to him. He's good at run blocking, good at pass blocking. I think this is, somebody in the 2nd, 3rd round I would be perfectly fine with having. Another beast of a man. His power just, oh, yeah. And 6'6", 331. He's got that length we're looking for. I think this is a guy, another good first step player, but definitely needs some coaching. So that's why I don't see him as a first grade talent, but I think he's got that size to be, a star in this league. And hell, maybe, Stoutland sees him and is like, hey, we're going to use this dude as a guard and, move him out to a tackle one day if we need be. But he's, somebody that played left tackle predominantly. He can play guard, though. He can play right tackle. He can move all over the line. That's the kind of versatility I'm looking for. You see 1 sack given up and 691 snaps there. So love it, man. And I think that I would be very happy to have him on the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the kid is a stud. Now, up next, we're going to go a little lower in the draft. This is someone, that I feel, if you're at the back end and this dude falls, I think he could definitely go a little higher. I'm just getting a little, excited and doing my own thing here, just pretending this is how things are going to work. But this is another guy that needs to work on his run blocking, which, if you're playing for the Eagles, you really need to do that. But again, these are projects that I think you can bring in and don't have to start or anything. I know a lot of people feel we have to draft somebody to start, but to me, this is wishful thinking, because I think he could definitely go in like the 5th round or maybe even higher. You got the good first step. You're looking for that always, but something he does well is he pulls well, and that is something the Eagles like to do. So I think he's got what is needed. When I'm watching, I think, and it's a great luxury to have. Like, Jeff Stoutland can definitely do something with that. But, he's got short arms. And, for a big-ass dude like him, and I've seen him listed as 6'6", 6'5", 6'4", it's kind of ridiculous. But I think that this kid could possibly, move inside and really, have a healthy career here in the NFL. But he did not have a healthy collegiate career. Had a knee injury that was pretty damn bad. So that sucks, when these guys have that kind of concern. But sometimes, they drop, and Landon Dickerson, and you find a diamond in the rough. So we'll see, man. I think he could definitely go higher than that. But wishful thinking for the young man, 21 years old. But up next, Charles Grant. And this is a guy the Eagles have visited with as well. And this is a very, very talented player. And I don't have him at the top, although I love his game, and I think he's probably one of my favorites out of this, possibly my favorite. The only thing is I'm trying to look at what the fit is. And look, if he's the best player available, you take him. He is a left tackle, though. That is where he played. That is something he does very well. You can see here, gave up 2 sacks, did 767 offensive snaps there, a 91.2 PFF grade. A lot of talent here, and I think he could, possibly be in the 2nd round, not at 64. I think you'd have to move up for him. But, dude, he is really fun to watch, and I think he is somebody that, has the ability that you could possibly move him all over. And, he's got good body control. That was something I noticed. And I think that at 3'11", you're going to want him to put on a little bit of weight. And yes, he played at William and Mary, so that kind of skews things. But I think he's got a lot of talent, and that would be somebody I'd be willing to work with, try to figure out. You see the 40 time there. I think that he's somebody for me. If we would draft, I'd be pumped up. Just not with that first pick here. So let's get into the top 5 fits here. And at number 5, really like this kid, Jared Wilson out of Georgia. And I think you can find him maybe in the 3rd, 4th round. And that's quite a 40 time he's got there. Dude can definitely move. And this is someone that played center. So we're looking for a center, right? Well, right here, this dude is a freak athlete, and I think could end up, being your backup, possibly, pushing for guard time. And, he is somebody that has that versatility. He has played guard, some snaps the last couple of years, but he shows that he can do it. So that's awesome. No sacks allowed last year in 12 games, 970 snaps. So love it. And look, for me, you always want to have depth, and I understand, maybe you don't want to, we have a center, but if he can, play guard, he can be depth at center and guard, push for a starting spot at guard. I'm all about it. And, he's got shorter arms. He's 6'3", 310, so he's not that tackle size. He is an interior guy. But I think that this is more so for, I think he would be better suited for not so much a run game. But look, Jeff Stoutland gets his hands on him. You never know. But I do like the kid's game. And if he falls, not against it. But the guy from Georgia, if you're putting me on the offensive line here, Tate Rutledge played in 10 games, allowed 1 sack in 500 snaps there. But another great athlete on that Georgia offensive line. And I think that, Tate here is somebody that I would walk away pretty excited about having, because I think, if he would go in that 2nd, 3rd round, another freak athlete here, where I think if he falls in that third and he's there, man, another beast of a man. He's got that power that I'm looking for. He does some great with stuff with his combo blocks. I think, only playing guard is something that hinders him because I think that is something we look for. But, look, Rutledge is a stud. And if he falls, you need depth there. Maybe you think you could teach him a little tackle or center or something. I would be perfectly fine. But he is 25 years old, but 6'6", 308 pounds, put on a little bit of meat, toughen him up a little bit. But he is a powerful dude in college. See how he does in the NFL. But injuries, things like that, you got to be concerned about. Maybe he falls. I would be all for having Rutledge, though, as an Eagle. Now, in the top three, John Connerly Jr. This is somebody that, I think we visited with, and I would be ecstatic about. I don't have him at the top just yet, and, well, you'll hear my reasoning here in a minute. But I think Connerly, somebody that played left tackle, again, but can play guard. He, has the ability to do these things. And, at 6'5", 311, he's 21 years old, still young. This is the kind of prospect I'm looking for the Eagles to take, groom to be the future. He could be the right guard of the future. But, he played tackle, so he's got that versatility here that I am looking for. Somebody, again, that he's got great pass protection. And his run blocking isn't horrible, but I think definitely some things that could be worked on there. But this is somebody that, oh, man, if the Eagles draft him, get excited. And I think the sky's the limit when you have Jeff Stoutland. But this is somebody that definitely needs some work with someone like Jeff Stoutland. Only one sack allowed, though, in 965 snaps. I think the kid's got a very high upside. If they take him at 32, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'll be real with you. But at number 2 here for me, Drew Kendall out of Minnesota. And I know you're probably thinking, what the fuck? But look, I'm talking about the fits here. And for me, this is somebody that fits what the Eagles are doing. You see, he gave up 1 sack in 777 snaps. And he is a center. But if he can go in that, day 3 range early, end of day 2, I would really be excited about him. I think that he's got everything you want out of a center, and I think he's one of those guys that could definitely fall. 6'4", 308. You can see, and I think, he just does a lot of the stuff that I was excited about. He's got good hand placement, and I think that you need to develop him, but center is that position we talk about, that we have somebody. You just need some depth there. So if you're looking in the draft, somebody that I think needs some development for sure, needs to toughen up a little bit, get some strength under him. But I think Drew Kendall, it's a perfect fit to not focus on something like, I need to have this. I don't think it's that dire. I think you could sign a free agent if you needed backup center depth. But you're always looking forward. So if there's somebody that can play guard and center, maybe that's the route. But here, we're going to go with my number 1 fit for the Eagles, and it is Gray Zabel. And you're thinking, what have I been smoking? And I'll tell you, only that good stuff out of North Dakota State here. This kid, and oh my God, it's 40 times not close to 5 seconds. Don't care. At 36 and a half inch vertical there, I think that this dude, he's got all he needs, and he can pass block, he can run block. He can do it all. This is that all-around player. Kind of reminds me of how we talked about Cody Mauch a couple of years ago. But this dude's just tough as nails. He's got great combo blocking. We talked about, the last guy. I think that, and for his size, 6'6", 312, he uses his body well. Great processing speed. I think that this is the kind of player the Eagles are looking for. And you'll hear people, he doesn't have arm length, this or that. He can't do this. That's fine. Went to North Dakota State. But he played left tackle pretty well last year. I don't think he's going to be that guy, but he's played right tackle before. He's played left guard, right guard. So that versatility there is dabbled a little bit of center. When these guys, go to these bowls, they have them trying out stuff. And I think, this is a kid that at the Senior Bowl was showing he can do it all. 16 games played, only 1 sack allowed at 970 snaps. That's 517 pass snaps, a 90.4 PFF grade. This is somebody I am excited about. and he could definitely go in the first round. But again, that small, school stuff. I think some of these things could definitely hold him back. But I just think that he's somebody for me. This is move into guard. I don't think I'm playing him a tackle, but with that size, it's kind of, I don't want to compare him to like Mekhi Becton, but taking one of those giants, and he's got to add a little bit of weight. He's young. He's 23 years old. All these young guys, you always hear that stuff, and it's like, well, no shit. You know what I mean? They got to develop. They're going to. It's just a matter of, are they in the right system? Jeff Stoutland could help anybody, really, you think, right? But, for me, Gray Zabel is a perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles at 32. Or if they want to trade, they feel confident some of these other teams won't take them, or there's some other linemen they like, maybe they trade back and they find themselves in a spot to get even more picks. So Howie's always wheeling and dealing. I'm trying to do the same for you guys to get all this content out, but that's all I've got for you here tonight. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this bad boy, subscribe down below. But I will be back. I'm going to put out probably on Thursday, you're going to get we're going to start the defense. We're going to start with the interior defensive linemen. Then we'll get into the edge rushers. We'll get into linebackers, corners, safeties. Then we'll get into the rookie cap hits. We'll have all the picks where we're at. I'll give you my pick. We'll do all that stuff 16 days away. Let's effing go. Hope you're getting excited. It's draft season, baby. And you guys know, leave a comment down below. Questions, comments, whatever's on your mind. But until next time, if you need anything, reach out. I'm always here for you guys as you are for me. But I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!